pop culture to some of the most divisive social issues that we face as a country. No subject tonight off limits. You know, being a parent myself, I want this program to be more than just identifying the challenges that face this generation, because it's so important we also tonight identify solutions. And with that said, we begin tonight. We take a look at the millennials by the numbers. Now, many young Americans in this age range attempted to enter the workforce at the height of the recession, and sadly, after nearly 6 years under President Obama, well, unemployment remains way too high among 18 and 29-year-olds. According to the Department of Labor, the total jobless rate for millennials is 10.9%. Now, that's well above last month's national average of 7.3%. And moving on, in 2012, a record number of millennials, well, guess what? They're still living at home with mom and dad. 21.6 million total, a much higher number than the 18.5 million back in 2007. Also, in terms of median income, we've also uncovered a very disturbing trend. Now, sadly, it has systematically declined over the past 5 years, starting in 2007 at $33,000, dropping all the way to just over $30,000 in 2012. But let not your heart be troubled, because there's some good news to share with you tonight, at least from my perspective. According to the latest Quinnipiac University poll, the group represented by the young people behind me right now, they prefer Republicans at this moment over President Obama on almost every issue. Now, the GOP has a 10-point advantage over the president when it comes to handling the economy, a 5-point advantage on health care, and millennials trust the Republicans in Congress more than the White House regarding the budget, as well as the controversial subject of immigration reform. And on that very hopeful note, well, I think it's time to welcome in our studio audience. All right, how many of you are worried about your future? Raise your hands. Anybody not worried about their future? You didn't raise your hand. Did you forget?
Yes, sir.
Are you worried about yeah, you know, sir, here I am among young people, and you're already identifying me as the old guy in the room. Thank you very much.
I am worried.
You are. I think you all have a right to be. Now, let me just go to some trends, because if you look at voting trends, I just gave you some numbers where young people feel now about the economy and they prefer Republicans. That's not the case. Let's go back. We'll take a look at 2008, and you see that, well, millennials voted for Barack Obama over John McCain. Then we look at some of the other issues. In 2012, they voted for 60, 37. Oh, why are you laughing?
I'm not looking. I'm familiar with these numbers, Sean.
Okay,
I'm
so
familiar with the fact
changed,
that,
though?
well, one thing has changed is that he's actually in office. You have to understand that those polls are looking at projections, and they're looking at possibilities. But now he is in office, and I think it's no surprise. I don't think anyone here would disagree with the fact that the president is proven himself to be a better campaigner than he has been able to govern. But I also would say that it's much more difficult.
Democrat. That's a pretty fair assessment.
That's the truth. Yes, because that's the truth, Sean. But it's much more challenging to govern, particularly when you have a Congress that's in complete and total obstruction of everything that you put forward.
That's a true statement. He had the Senate, he had the House. What was the excuse then?
It's not an excuse, Michelle. That's just the fact.
But that's what you just said.
Didn't he get his stimulus passed? Didn't he get his economic plan? Son of stimulus. He got his health care bill passed without a single, right? Here's one thing that I think the latest polls that came out showed that on the issue of honesty and trustworthiness, most Americans don't trust their president. How many of you think the president is honest and trustworthy? How many of you don't? Why?
Because he, like many other politicians, have said one thing and done another. And that is one thing that's indicative of this generation, is that they can't stand people who are inauthentic in positions of power. You know, they grew up in a culture where 9/11 happened when we were coming into adolescence. And then as we were trying to graduate from college, the financial crisis happened. So we've had dream after dream kind of crushed. So we're tired of looking at politicians and hear them say one thing and lead us down these road with these high hopes, and then nothing comes through. So my generation, our generation, millennials, we just want to see someone get something done and be honest. And I think that's why they're now...
You're a Democrat. Look at this big change around. People are disappointed. They feel disenfranchised. Look at those numbers. Does everybody here know... You know somebody that went to college, did all the right things, and then had to move home in mommy and daddy's basement?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think we all do. Absolutely.
Has anyone here had to experience that? And be honest, don't be ashamed. I mean,
I've done that.
You've done that. Okay, you've done that.
Law school. I've done that.
At a law school, you had to go back home.
But see, this is the thing. This is where I think a lot of these people sitting on this stage will agree with me, Sean. This myth that if you go to school and go to more school, that equates to a six-figure job and financial stability for the rest of your life. It's just that it's a myth,
I left home at 18. Trust me, I was not going back, and they weren't taking me back. So this is your party. You believed in Yes We Can and Obama and change.
Yeah.
What happened? What went wrong?
No, I do think you make a great point that authenticity is one of the most important things for young people. We see so much spin. There's advertising at every turn. And so when we look to the people that are governing for us, one of the things that we really care about is it just more spin, or are they really going to fight where they believe
When
in?
Barack Obama said, if you like your plan, you can keep your plan. And now we discovered in July of 2010, he knew better. They debated inside the White House whether or not to tell us the truth. Did he lie?
Look, I don't think he lied. I think I said to you before, I think that he misspoke. He should have said that most people can keep their plan. He shouldn't have said it. He should have said that most people can keep their plan.
He should have said what it
We are living in a moment of total dysfunction.
By the way, this is Juan Williams' son, and he is a conservative. Yes, sir.
But Obama also said that Obamacare would drop the cost of health care. It's gone up. Time and time again, he has continually misled the public, and now he's finally seeing the results in the poll numbers, and it's his lack of governing because he has lack of experience and executive power. He spent his whole career up to this point campaigning. So what do we expect? He's a great campaigner, but when it comes time to actually be responsible and do the work that needs to be done in the White House, he can't do it.
But I think the fact that 6 out of 10 young people actually can get affordable health care under $100, that is lower health care.
Nobody's getting it. Guy, go ahead.
I think it comes down to cynicism. I think we're a pretty cynical generation.
Yeah.
And I think what a lot of people in my generation, myself not included, thought they saw in Barack Obama was a non-cynical politician who was going to change things. And then
He was inspiring. No one's going to dispute that. I mean,
and if you look at the polling, the Quinnipiac poll that you cited, the Fox News poll that just came out, the group that turned hardest on this president over the honest and trustworthy question are young people, because that BS detector went off in a way that I think was a very rude awakening and a disappointment to a lot of people.
Yeah, go ahead. You want to weigh in?
Yeah, you mentioned the polling and how young people have turned on Obama, and I work for Generation Opportunity, which is a youth advocacy group, and we promote economic freedom, and we've had a big opt-out of Obamacare campaign, and what we found is if you look at an ABC News poll, when young people were polled in October, young people supported Obamacare at a rate of 49%. Then the exchanges launched in November. Young people supported Obamacare by a rate of 36% and opposed it by 61%.
Yeah. Now, Stephanie, you, hi.
Hi.
You work with OFA.